snow. Turns out, despite her pleading, seal pup eyes and layers of blubber, Tallulah is actually an enormous English mastiff. She doesn't seem to have the use of her legs, making her a formidable dead weight. Let's get her up and inside. You got a towel or a blanket that we can use as a sling? Margot doesn't hesitate. Ignoring the biting cold, she unzips her coat to reveal a particularly festive reindeer applique sweater and slips it onto Tallulah's body like an enormous white cummerbund. How much does she weigh? I ask, unlocking the front door and finding a light. 193, says Gabe, coming around to help lift. The greatest weight ever recorded for a dog was an English Mastiff, 343 pounds. What was that? Asks Margot. I don't bother explaining how I find solace in mumbling obscure facts and trivia during stressful situations, but instead reply, would you mind calling Doc Lewis? Let him know I'm here and he can go back to bed. If Margot nods or replies, I don't see or hear it, as Gabe and I grunt, strain, and stagger our way through the front door and on to the workspace in the back. Tallulah is as nimble as a Zeppelin-sized float at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, her legs making drunken, half-hearted attempts at walking. It's my fault, says Gabe, breathless, as his dog crumples to the floor in the center of the room. Theobromine toxicity. She ate a whole tray of chocolate brownies I baked. I considered the teenage kid pushing his glasses back onto the bridge of his nose. Theobromine is the ingredient in chocolate that is toxic to dogs. How many high school students would know this fact? When was this? Gabe consults his wristwatch. 52 minutes ago. We called our regular vets, Healthy Paws in Patton, and I paged the doctor on call, but no one called us back. That's why we drove over here. I decide not to mention that about an hour ago, Amy had spotted the entire veterinary staff of Healthy Paws, loud and loose-tongued, on the far side of the noisy bar she had suggested for our ill-fated first date. I guess that explains why Gabe didn't get a call back. He's not picking up, says Margot, sans Stetson, letting me see where Gabe gets his hair color and texture. My little girl's going to be okay, yeah? I grab my stethoscope and get down on the floor with her little girl. Tallulah's out of it, neck outstretched, head flat to the floor, eyes closed, jowls wet and droopy, like a sad, sloppy frown. I listen to her heart. 30 beats per minute, really slow, even for a dog of this magnitude. Has she vomited? I ask. No, says Margot. She checks in with Gabe, who seems to deliberate before shaking his head in agreement. I lift up a heavy eyelid. Tallulah's left eye is unfocused, eerily black because her pupils are almost fully dilated. Could you pass me that thermometer on the counter? Gabe obliges, but I catch the nervous tremor in his hand. This is your fault, Gabe, says Margot. You and that girlfriend of yours. She's not my girlfriend, Gabe protests, but the blush in his cheek begs to differ. Margot folds her arms across her chest. Okay, so what happened to this friend, who happens to be a girl? Funny how she had to rush off. I told you this has nothing to do with her. I even cooked a cobbler for supper. Why bother with brownies at this time of night? Still holding on to the thermometer, I realize where I've seen Gabe, or rather someone who looks like him. Remove the glasses and he's Art Garfunkel in Catch-22. Hey, I happen to love classic movies, but if you prefer pop culture, leave the glasses on and go with Napoleon Dynamite. Gabe ignores the question. We need to make her throw up, right, Dr. Mills? I read online how that's one of the first things you do for chocolate poisoning. I checked Tallulah's temperature. 97.2 degrees Fahrenheit. Way too low. The most expensive dog ever sold was a red Tibetan Mastiff named Big Splash. The price tag, $1.5 million. I study Margot and Gabe for all the similarities in their